Lock Haven, Scott Moore, head coach, joining us, and of course, Lock Haven now the team that sort of carries the day for the MAC, another tournament title. Congratulations,
Congratulations, Coach.
I mean, you guys. I don't want to say it was on death's door, but the program has been on a monster uptick, Scott, in the last 7 years, 8 years. What's the secret sauce, man? People are dying to know that you guys are humming at Lock Haven.
Yeah, just kids in there that believe and that, that want to be part of something special. But then, as a coaching staff, convincing the guys that it's worth that extra work and that train throughout the summer and, be disciplined throughout the school year to reach the highest level. And, we've had some successful guys come through the program and guys that have paved the way, guys like Danny Neff and Ronnie Perry and Chance Marsteller and, some of these late guys that have bought in. So a lot of tradition, a lot of culture, but mostly just hard work and a belief in the system and the belief in the process that it takes to be the best.
You talk about tradition. That is Lock Haven, though. I mean, I go back, of course, I was coached by Coach Powell, so I've been indoctrinated your tradition too.
Yeah, it goes back a long way, and we've just got things running again with the community, with the alumni donors, and then just with the right coaching staff. We had Coach Perry join us this year full time with the men's side. Coach Carr, who was a 5-year veteran on the staff, took a job at Davidson as a head coach, but just a lot of chemistry within the staff, a lot of belief, and obviously a lot of hard work, and just getting the right guys in the room and competition, the right schedule, and putting all those pieces together. And, for me, it's simplifying the process to get to the top. And we've certainly been able to do that over the last, 6-7 years.
And you really did do it during the conference tournament. You had a couple upsets, not upsets, a couple of your lower seeds really succeeded, on bringing themselves between Ash and Eiler, and then also Tyler Stolfus. They didn't come out of nowhere, but they exceeded the expectations. And obviously you've got them going on the right way that way.
Yeah, we knew with the seeds, there are some tough weights at the conference, 149, 157, and 174, or three of them. There are some really competitive weights, and we knew we were in those matches, and we had 4 guys seeded 7th. And, 3 of them ended up in the top 4. So it's about wrestling above your seed, but most importantly, just wrestling up to your potential at the right time and peaking in the right moments. And those guys certainly did that for us down in Fairfax last weekend.
Scott, now, Noto is a different dude. This is a guy that, the job just now starts. What's it been like for him? Seated 8th. I mean, this is not a feel-good story. This is a business trip. And when we talked about this, that, between he and Laird, I mean, they're very, very real expectations about medals hanging around kids' necks, and that would be one of them.
Yes.
Yeah, this is different from last year. I think we expected to win the MAC last year, but won in the Nationals, with the hope. And, had a good win over Hildebrand from Penn State first round, but then hit Suriano. And, but yeah, this year's about opening up and believing that he can be on the podium at the end of the weekend, knowing that he has more experience and has wrestled better competition and is more mentally and physically prepared to go to battle. So we're certainly excited to see him as well as our other athletes compete. And as you mentioned, it's not a feel good story. It's a business trip, and we got to get some wins, and we got to prove that we're at that level and are ready to take charge of the 125-pound weight class.
Now, how much, obviously you're a coach, but how much belief are you selling? And obviously you've had success as a team in the tournament. You alluded to it with Perry and Marcel. So, I mean, not that they need to be sold, but, it's different than try real hard, guys. You're like, hey, no, literally, this is what needs to be done. You know why? Because we have done it in the past. And again, a lot of people, pretend like Edinburgh and Clarion. No, Lock Haven was first.
First.
Lock Haven was first. And, you know, they call it Matttown, USA for a reason, Scott. Are you selling a belief? Do you understand? I mean, I don't, maybe I'm dumbing it down too much, but why not, right? You've done it before.
Yeah, and that's got to be it. That was the first meeting after Max's. On there, you know, we reached our goal, but it's no longer being satisfied with competing at the national tournament. It's an expectation. We go out there and we put ourselves in position to be on the podium. And I've, you know, in doing this for a long time, the guys that believe it, the guys that go in with that warrior mentality, the underdog mentality, are the ones that get it done. And it's, you know, after the first day, yeah, there's battles, but if you make it to the second day, it's anybody's game, and it's whoever has the most fight. And, you know, that, like I said, that was the first meeting after Max. And last year might have been a little bit different. I think it was the winning the MAC title as a team last year was a surprise. So, you know, might have been a satisfied type feeling in the air, where this year it's, hey, the job's not done. Let's go make a statement at nationals.
And that's what we always say, that the job is then there's can be upsets once you get into that mode. You know, we've seen it before, whether, you know, a wrestler that came out of nowhere, but just has a belief coming in. And I think that's really the pervasive attitude you're taking now.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And those guys, I mean, I like the guys we have going. Obviously, I thought we could have got a few more, but every single guy that's traveling with us has the fight, has the focus and intensity, and just brings that belief system with it that, you know, they put the work in, they sacrifice, and anybody they compete against, they're gonna know that these guys are ready to take charge. And you know, good matchups and seeing some different teams that we haven't faced all year. That's also exciting. You know, just every time you can step on the mat against nationally ranked opponents is an opportunity. But it's about how many times you take advantage of that opportunity is to where you're at, you know, coming in next year, or as you finish a year. So we want to go out on a high note. You know, we want to defeat guys ranked in the top 10 or top 15, and we want to put ourselves in position to be wrestling on Friday night.
Well, and that's what we see here. And obviously you say the competition's better, but what, you know, we're doing this kind of for all the MAC, you know, trying to elevate, you know, the publicity and stuff but that's where we're seeing, are you seeing that more in the MAC itself? The competition's getting tougher, and you know, you wanted 6 or 7 in, but you only got to only four, which is great. But it shows that the MAC is getting tougher.
Yeah, it is. There's some young guys in the MAC. There's a ton of talent. And I think the MAC teams are starting to branch out and wrestle better competition as we learn more about, you know, and we've known how to get to the national tournament. You got to get your RPI and strength of schedule up, and you got to defeat nationally ranked opponents. So that was the reasoning behind us wrestling Penn State and NC State and Ohio State and Northern Iowa, and, you know, the challenging schedule that we had. And it turned out to be prudent on the back end with big wins over Navy, you know, American and Ryder and some of these other teams that we've, you know, that we battled against late. So we put a tough schedule in front of our guys. We challenged them. You know, we came through to the end, and it really proved at Mac's second day, we had some really good wins that, you know, over opponents that defeat us early in the year, or opponents that maybe we weren't favored to win, but based on our schedule, we were able to, our guys just continued to believe. And, you know, they won 8 of 11 matches, with 2 of those losses coming in overtime. So, you know, that certainly paid off. And I think that's the building momentum going into nationals at this point. So we're ready. We're headed out tomorrow morning, and things are gonna get exciting out in Tulsa.
Great.
How much, you know, obviously you're a guy that was a big deal as a wrestler, and now has certainly emerged as a coach, as one of the guys that can get it done. How, when you think back, how much smarter is Coach Scott Moore now? You know, here, let's pretend, you know, let's put you in the shoes of the kids that are getting ready to get on airplanes and head to Tulsa. You know, what do you wish you could have told yourself that you now know that you didn't then?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I learned it later on in my career, and just the mindset part, just the belief system that you have in place, and then just the idea of being fresh and being excited to compete. A lot of these teams, I wouldn't say they overtrain, but they they don't get their guys the right amount of break time in between, matches or at the end of the year. So, just the way you train, the development aspect. There's just been a lot that's changed over the last 20 years as far as the conditioning, the way you drill, and also, like I said, the rest period, doing active rest days, doing swimming and doing ice baths, and just making sure these guys are 100% on point, mind, body, and soul, and ready to take action. And 20 years ago, it was more hardcore training and just more tasking on the body. So we've developed a good system. We seem to peak our guys at the end of the year, but honestly, I think it's a lot of culture too, just the energy in the room and the energy from the coaching staff, and just the constant affirmation that, hey, we belong here, and it's your turn to take part in this national tournament. So the mental and physical part has changed. And, I think I give a lot of credit to our coaching staff, Rob Weichel and Ronnie Perry, and obviously Nate Carr last year. But these guys we've adopted that right culture and chemistry in the room. So it's exciting to be in there. And that shows when they step on the mat. There's just a lot of fight and a lot of belief when they step on the mat.
How hard is it to go from happy to be here to expect to be here? And I think, a lot of the times, look, the little school gets to go compete with the big boys. That mentality sort of oozes over whether you like it or not, and you've got, you've got some dudes that, Stolfus and Eiler, you would talk about getting right into the deep end of the pool. Yep. Here we go. Right. But, how did that transformation come that that it's no longer happy to be here? We expect to be here.
It's shown them that it's been done before. It's talking about some of the success stories. Danny Neff was our first All-American in my era in 2015. He was a 28th seed. And going down the ladder, Ronnie Perry being a national finalist out of the 15th seed. And then same thing with Kyle Shoup being I don't know what seed he was, but somewhere in that 15th to 18th. So it's been done before. You've competed against the best guys early in the year. You've got better since November, December, and now it's who's willing to fight harder and who's going to stick to the game plan as well. A lot of guys get frustrated or get anxiety at the national tournament. So it's who's going to be more physical, who's going to stick to the game plan, and who's going to be in it at the end of the match, feeling good about their chances. And I think that changed for us. With a couple examples, even from a coaching staff perspective, is, at some points it's like, man, we're excited to get out there and just compete. And then, you realize it's all about the message that you're sending to your athletes. If you're happy and you're satisfied, then they're going to be on that same boat. So you got to get above that. You got to think bigger, and you got to picture yourself in those tight matches and just seeing all those underdog and Cinderella stories that have happened before us, and to want to recreate that path that was taken. And I think we got the right guys to do it. These guys are dogs, and they've been in a fight all year, and they're ready to battle. And we're certainly, and I know our fans are excited to get out there.
Well, I'm hoping they do put that glass flipper on themselves this weekend. There's no doubt about that. We want to see that Cinderella story come to fruition.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know. It's pretty cool. There's only a couple of you that get to walk around, you and Flinny, walk around the little engines that could. Takes the little school to the front of the line. Scott, I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Best of luck to your fellas. Safe travels.
Good luck.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Take care.
All right. Thank you. Scott Moore, as we roll along.